everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 now, I believe, of our Midas Mode dev blog. It's a crazy day in Dota here today. Cheaters are getting banned. New tournaments are popping up, and it is time for your update on Midas Mode. Now, I know last week, which is actually 2 weeks from now, I told you guys our next episode was about talent. How to get talent for your tournament, and what are good ways the struggles for getting talent in teams to attend. Now, this is pretty unique because this tournament specifically is set up so that we don't have to really worry about this. As a third-party person trying to get Dota talent, less talent, more players to attend your tournament, you're in for a rough time. Players are the most highly paid esports players in all of the world of esports, and unless you want to have $500,000 to $1 million, players are not going to fully commit to their tournament. And you can kind of understand why. When they're playing at stuff like the International and the Riyadh Masters, taking a week or two at your tournament is kind of a big deal for them. It stops them from practicing and potentially getting stuff going. This was a huge reason why a lot of third-party events stopped happening during the DPC. And again, I love the DPC. I loved seeing players in Tier 2 rise up to prominence in Tier 1. I love people having to continue to play. I loved all of that. But there are some perks for not being in a Dota Pro circuit, and one of them is kind of the pseudo-return of third-party tournaments. I mean, back in the day, a pro team could not ditch any event or they lose points. They lose their chance to go to the International. So now it's a little different. But anyway, please don't say that to our YouTube watchers. TC Loper, please. I know you Twitch viewers are better, but please don't insult them. So, this tournament, we did, of course, get some of that in past Midas modes. It was mostly teams participating out of the goodness of their own heart, and in the first Midas mode in particular, our prize pool was so low, the teams told us we should probably just do it for charity, so that they could, attend the tournament. For a good cause, get those tax write-offs or whatever. So this tournament is specifically designed to fix this issue. Now, again, if you have not been keeping up with the blogs, the idea is very simple. We're going to have 12 Banner Lords, which are talent that are coming to the event, and they are basically playing Mafia, right? They're playing like this game that I'm creating, a social game, and when they go head-to-head, like if it's in Game of Thrones or Risk, that roll of the D20 dice is a Dota game. And that Dota game is played by Mercenaries in this version. So, what is the idea behind this? The idea behind Mercenaries is Midas mode, of course. They have to pay for Mercenaries based on how good they are. And everyone has a set amount of money. Hello, that's my new dog, by the way. His name is Comet. He's a real stinker. If you see him pooping, please scream in the chat so I can stop him. But yeah, so every series, the Banner Lords will have to pay for Mercenaries to fight on their behalf. Now, this is a really good system because I'm hoping to get huge names in the Dota community because it's hard to commit to a full-time tournament, but committing to maybe one best of 3 over the course of 8 days is not that crazy, I don't think. I think like huge names like Kuro and Puppy and Arteezy would actually be open at just being like, okay, I'll give you one series once. Of course, what's the right way to say this? Not nicer pro players, but more community-invested pro players. These guys might come on for several days. So yeah, it should be good and useful. Now, this is my workaround for getting big teams to come to the tournament, in a way. Big players that are known. My other idea is advertising for Dota with this system. So, Dota 2, as you guys know, is extremely secular. Only Dota fans like Dota, and there's not a real big reason for people outside of Dota to come and watch a tournament, because they don't know anything about it. So, the idea behind Mercenaries is that you can buy a mercenary with money, or a mercenary that's really bad can give your team perks. Because again, we are playing on a custom map. We can do whatever we want. So, one of my big ideas is to approach huge streamers, like very big streamers. And again, it's for some of these games, they're best of 1. It's 1 hour. Can we get a huge streamer to come and play a Dota game for 1 hour and I pay them? Now, again, the payment structure of this tournament is every mercenary is paid like a mercenary. They actually get paid just for showing up, playing their game, and then they fuck off. Win or lose, they get paid. So, hello? Stupid ass dog. Sorry. At any rate, Boomer, I should get my hormones checked. Listen, I know I have enough testosterone, okay? I'm bald as fuck, so don't worry about it. Anyway, so yes, the idea is that we make a tournament where someone can only commit to 1 hour. That's okay, and we can get people outside of the Dota sphere to play with Dota pro players. The hell is that? Sorry, God, this bug is out of control. It's falling off all over the place and fucking noises. Apologies, everyone. At any rate, so we hope to approach as many people as possible that have played Dota in the past and aren't professional, used to be professional, current day professionals, and then people that have never played in their lives. For an example, let's say that we got some massive streamer, some great personality like Ludwig or something to come to the tournament. Okay, what is his buff? He can't die. That's it. I don't think he's ever played the game before. Imagine a team of 4 pro players and one dude who has literally never played the game, but he's invincible. Would you want that guy on your team? Easy content, fun content. How much do we have to pay these guys is a big question. Some of them will just come because the community wants them to come. Other people might charge us a shitload, but an hour, one game, one BO1. I think this could do amazing things for advertising for Dota outside of Dota sphere. Can you imagine? It's free content, you know? Some huge streamer out there, your Lily Pichus, your S fans come in, they stream one Dota game, expose themselves to this massive community. In turn, the Dota community is exposed to them, and they get to have fun and play games with pro players for stuff on the line. Sounds like fun. So, that is kind of the plan when it comes to Mercenaries. Now, we have something very big to talk about, a huge update for Bannerlords and Mercenaries and talent. I guess I didn't really talk about talent yet, so I'll talk about that. Players are easy. If you get enough money, players will come. If you don't have enough money, nice players will come. If you don't have enough money, players that care about the community will come. But you get the bag, and they shall come. Talent, on the other hand, is extremely tricky because they're not expensive. It's just creating the right talent pool is extremely difficult. Especially when it's stuff like nepotism, too. Like, everybody's very close in the Dota community, in the Dota talent pool, because we work a lot of events together, and we all do a lot of great stuff together, and we're genuinely friends. I will say that there's not a lot of people in the world of Dota 2 talent that are not genuinely cool, nice people that will just be cool. I mean, that's it. I've worked in a lot of different esports scenes. There's a lot of very infamous assholes. We used to have them in our scene. Luckily for us, they were gone now. But at any rate, there's not a lot of assholes left. So how do you stack your tournament? Who do you pick who's right? Well, it is difficult. A lot of people like working together. You know, your casting duos, Fogged OD is a pair together. OD Sheaver, they will like to be at events together. You know, best friends love to work together, and they make better content as well because they're super comfortable with each other. Suns fan Cinderin, these are great. But it's also kind of your responsibility as a tournament organizer to... Okay, well, it's not your responsibility. This was a big thing with the DPC too. Like, the DPC would hire the same people every single time. That's great, but it makes a stagnant product that is stagnant not only for the viewers, but for the talent. I mean, talent's having a great time working together, having fun. The same people get hired every time. Dota doesn't grow. It's just that kind of like... It's a big issue because they're very good at their jobs. And you ask yourself as a tournament organizer, why would I want someone who I'm not sure is good at their job or not as good as somebody else when this might be a one-off thing? I want to hire the best of the best. And it's tough because as somebody who cares about Dota, you also have to grow the scene. You have to try to get people that don't always get events to show up at your event. And maybe it's not a lot of people, maybe just one or two. But it's somebody that is budding and you want to help them grow because it's good for the scene in general. Like, and it's good for your product too. Having 1 or 2 wild cards that don't usually go into a show, maybe they're really great and they flow really well and it adds a new dynamic. Maybe they really suck and it fucks up the entire show. But still, you've taken that risk to make something flavorful, and that pays off not only for you, but for the scene at large. So it's interesting when it comes to talent, especially as a talent himself who is now making a tournament. It's very hard not to just be like, these are all my best friends, I want them to come. Would anyone be upset with me if I did that? Probably not, because it's my tournament. I can do whatever I want. But for the good of Dota, you should try to expand. You should try to get old faces back in. You should try to get new rising faces in. And you should try to, give the spotlight to people. So we'll see how it works out. It's tough. But yeah, that is difficult with talent. Besides that, talent in Dota is pretty easy. Not a lot of whiners. Not a lot of like, hey, you have to do this. There are some talent that will remain unnamed. I do like things that they like it a little classy, They like their M&Ms a certain color, not that bad. But for the majority, talent is just as easy to sleep on a bunch of sandbags on a floor to cast a hub as they are to work the international. So we're very fortunate in that sense. But yeah, so what are we thinking here? Once again, let's talk about talent and let's talk about our general plan for Midas Mode 3. The tournament is separated by 12 houses, each complete with a Bannerlord. Now, the goals of a Bannerlord, when we're hiring a Bannerlord, is, number 1, they have to play the game. Now, this is not just Dota. These guys are not playing Dota. They're playing this meta game of Game of Thrones, where we are fighting over a selected part of the map, and they have a home, they have a lore, they have reasons that they want to go do things. They're making alliances. They're playing Mafia. So we need people that want to play the game, as it were. Go out there and enjoy that story. We also have to have people that are personable because Bannerlords have houses, which are the viewers. Again, the big part of this tournament is that the viewers have just as much impact as the teams, if you will. So they have to be personable. They have to want to talk to their fans. They have to engage with their fans, build stuff together, make decisions with their fans. We can't have people that are super cut off. Finally, hello, stop! I'm sorry. I'm talking a lot. This is a blog, Bobic. Thank you. Finally, the Bannerlords need to be able to be probably in the same building. I think that they need to be on site. They need to be there for the entire 8 days, working together, having fun. Not a hard job, though. I think with the current schedule, I'm looking at 8 days where we probably have at most 2 series a day once for the same talent. So they work 1 series a day, if that, and they're done. Easy fucking gig. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about that when it comes to time constraints. But here is the issue. The people specifically that we need for Bannerlords have to have audiences that are excited about getting behind them. You have to be pumped to be part of team whatever. And we're going to do it. It will be funny. It will be great. They have to be personable, but they have to be able to be in the goo. They have to be in the dirt. They're going to a homegrown tournament that I am creating. So if we get someone super, super serious and they want a bunch of money for coming, it's not going to work. There's a lot of really huge personalities in Dota, and they have a lot of viewers. They have a lot of fans, but they don't really fucking care about those fans. Like, it's not like a big deal. They don't want to interact with them. That's not the right person for this tournament. So it's hard. Here's the other thing. We have the Mercenaries. Who makes a good mercenary? Anybody that plays Dota, anybody that doesn't play Dota, but especially people that viewers want to see play. So, viewers are attached to a house. They want to support the house. They want to vote. But the Bannerlords never play themselves. They are simply like the coaches or the managers of the house. People that play are allowed to stream their games on their channels. And we could watch them streaming their games on their channels. We can hear the team comms. These are very personable players, good players that people want to actually watch play rather than be part of their house. So this has come up with a big question for me. because this is a huge issue. Let's take, for example, Gork, right? Gork played in Midas Mode 2. He won Midas Mode 2. Congratulations again, Midas Mode 2 champion with Wagga Magaga. Won the tournament. Would Gork be a good Bannerlord or Mercenary? Let's look at the pros and cons. Pros of being a Mercenary. He gets to stream on his own channel. He gets to have his fans supporting him. People get to watch him play. He's very entertaining in game and in team comms. He gets free content. Fantastic. However, Gork has a massive following, and a lot of people probably would be super excited to be on Team Gork throughout the tournament. So, what is more valuable? Having big streamers play in the games so that we can see their point of views on their own streams, or having them play along with us at our location live? Also, these big streamers make a lot of money streaming. And I'm sure asking a huge streamer to be like, hey, can you ditch your stream for 8 days, this massive revenue growth for you, to come do this tournament, and I'll pay you. I'm probably not going to be able to pay them as much as they make just streaming, and they would probably be very stressed out the entire time because they could be streaming instead. Now, granted, there's semantics. I can go to a location. I can make them a streaming setup. They only work like 4 hours a day. They can work there, then stream, then do whatever the fuck they want. But it's difficult. So I had this issue, and I had this idea, and it's something that I've been mulling over, which is why my vlog is late, because I need to figure this out now. Do I want to go for very large streamers to come at the event and play the game, or should they stay home and stream and then still be part of the event? So, I don't know. I have no idea. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, I'm growing out my mustache. Why do you gotta make fun of me? Okay, I wanted to see what it looked like. I haven't shaved in like a few months. It's not really growing out. I'll shave it off. Don't worry, next time. So yeah, here's where I came up the last week and a half of deliberating. I think I am going to have a band of mercenaries called the Fighters Guild. Now, the Fighters Guild is a band of mercenaries that shows up every day. They're guaranteed to be there. But they only get to play 1 series a day. So they show up, they're on the board, and you could pick them or you could not, but they're there. This, I think, is optimal because you get to see a lot of the huge streamers. The streamers get to stay home, play on their own channels. They can dip when they're done. They still get to be part of the tournament. People still get to root for them, and then they're there for the entire time. This seems like a good middle ground. And I actually come to you asking you, what would you rather prefer? Would you prefer large-scale streamers coming to the event and watching them play like Mafia, but they don't actually play in the games, they just like cast the games? Or would you rather watch them play on their own channels? So I'm really interested in what you guys think. Currently, I am looking at the mercenary system with a Fighters Guild a lot more, because I think it would be really interesting. But I'm not sure. So, let's run through, and I wasn't sure I was going to do this. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. I was going to say who I want as a Bannerlord and who I want as a mercenary right now, but I feel like that's kind of spoilery. It takes away a little bit from the fun. So, oh, that's a great question, Dupe. So why can't Bannerlords lead their houses in battle? Well, I do want to get a nice mix of Bannerlords. I want to have some pro players. I want to have some talent. I want to have some cast, like, you know, non-Dota people as a Bannerlord. And I think for one house, I'm going to get a pro player, and they can be like the front. They can jump in. That's their special ability, is to jump in the fray and say, hey, I'm coming in. But I think it's a little broken. For one, mercenaries cost money, which is the big motivating factor for balance. So that saves them money if they don't have to buy a good player. And they also get a lot of information in the games, and they know they can carry themselves. And I think that's kind of broken, because you can save money by hiring worse players, and you don't have to pay for one player. It's a broken ability, but it's a good one for one house. So we'll see. Okay, with that out of the way, I will spoil a couple of these. Let me turn this off for a sec, and I'll spoil a couple of these. Let me see here. No, I'm not going to that page. That spoils everything. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna make this a white text for now. What 1 sec. Okay, great. All right, here. So a little bit of spoils here on my working dock. By the way, if you are making a tournament, I would highly suggest making what I call a hub. This hub page right here. Oh, I guess I'll figure out a way to make this look okay. So this is my hub page on my Google Doc. It's very important to have some kind of like sharing software where you can have your team look at everything. As you can see here, I have my hub where I have all my relevant links and keeping myself up to date on all my shit that I'm working on. Not clicking on this one. Houses. This is part of something that I'm working on. The Mercenaries, map locations, which we're going to go into probably next blog. Project timeline and the format. So, anyway, good to keep organized, my boys. We shall see. Okay, so what should we talk about? Let us talk about houses. Yeah. Big part of this tournament is that the houses need to reflect the personalities. We are playing a game here where everyone's playing Game of Thrones and they're part of their own houses. So, I have developed, based on the map, houses that I think would make sense for our talent selection to go through. Here is a picture of the map. Again, we're working with the Tyrian Plain, a guy who made that fantastic lore project. And I've separated the Dota 2 map into several regions. First up, we have the Abyssal Horde. That's Underlords, guys. These are the bad guys. These dudes want to just come up from the ground, enslave all surface dwellers, and drag them back down. We have the Empire of Bones, Skeleton King. We need a tyrannical dictator, another bad guy. We have the Bronze Legion from Artifact, you know? Stonehall, pseudo-Romans that are expanding. We have the Dark Moon Order, Celemene's peeps. We have Sulk. Sulk is the Society of Like-Minded Keen Folk. That's just the Keen Folk in general, the smart guys. Sapphire Archons. Those guys are the, Sapphire Archons are Artifact lore. It's basically the Avengers of the Dota 2 universe. High magical skilled, very powerful magic guy users that govern over the entire planet trying to save them and stuff. We have the Conclave of the Brine from Siltbreaker. That's basically all of the fish characters. Maranths, as they're called in Dota lore. Then we have the Jasper Circle, Assassins, Backstabbers. We have the Knights of the Fold, a megalomaniac cult that brainwashes people into following them. We have the Red Mist Army, Axe's people, basically Mongols from the olden days. We have the Army of the Dead God, hailing from Koich, Pudge and his peeps. And then we have the Scions of the Skyrath, the Skyrath Royal House. Short and sweet, the Lannisters. A lot of money, a lot of esteem, aristocratic bird people. So, as you can see from the original project of the Tyrian Plain project made by a man who calls himself the Tyrian Plain, we have separated his Dota 2 map, which hopefully will load. This thing hasn't loaded in a few days, but we've separated the Dota 2 map that he created into specific regions, and you might notice that we have 1, 2, 3. 3 regions. Now, this is the back end of Midas Mode 3. As far as the viewers are concerned, there are no such things as brackets. There are no such things as a format. It is a story, and that story has battles, and those battles occur in certain places for certain reasons. So how I've separated it, if you are a lore nerd, if you're a nerd, is we are in a GLS format with 3 groups and 4 teams per group. And these guys will move on to go out. This will give us groups. You get best of 1s. After the groups, they have a play-in, which is best of 3s. And then playoffs and semifinals and finals are all best of 3 and best of 5. So, this gives us a pretty good system. There's a lot of BO1s here, which is something that I want to think about and see if that's okay, because I want to spice up those BO1s. But we'll see how it turns out. Short and sweet, though, with 3 groups of 4 teams. I've constructed the map. Oh, my God. Wrong tab. I've constructed the map to be in 3 regions. consisting of about 4 people per region, which will fight. So, we have the Sapphire Archons will face off against the Conclave of the Brine, Sulk, and the Dark Moon Order, and that's group 1. See what I'm saying? And they will move on as they go to their final destination. So, it is starting off with groups, which are BO1, then moving into BO2, and moving into BO5. I really wanted to have BO2s in a group stage, but I think we would almost double the length of the tournament. And I also have something called the King's Day, which I'll talk about, but who knows. So, yeah, that's the general idea. With that said, our houses need personalities that stem from the Dota 2 world, and we should attach these houses to their, respective talent. I'll give you one leak, okay? BO2 are boring. BO2 are boring because there's not, a third. There's no fucking point to them. Like, they're just for points. We're moving across a map. You don't get to have a BO3 fucking battle between Vikings on a field. It's basically they go head to head. And if they live, they live. And if they die, they die. And then they'll fight somewhere else. So for this, it is going to be different. Losing a game actually has massive consequences. Your army is dead. You have lost. It's like real life rather than just a format. So we'll see. Anyway, so one leak. I really want Pyrian Flax in this. So we have Pyrian Flax will be the Empire of Bone. He will be Skeleton King. We have the lore for him. His job is to be loud, a dictator, kill as many people as possible, and spread his influence throughout the map and take their bones. So yeah, I think building houses around the talent is a really good way to do it. We've separated the map into 4 specific regions. Now I have to find talent that are going to match each one of these people. Not only that, but their abilities have to also match these people. For example, in case you guys forgot, each Bannerlord will have a special ability. They can use this once per series, and it's a game-defining thing that they're going to break the game with. And will be fun because they'll be casting. They'll have a button. They can press it whenever they want to upset the game and help them win. For Pyrians, his innate ability, I believe, is going to be, if it works, please, lads, cast your spells! All of his units will fire all of their spells at once and not affect their cooldowns. Seems broken and busted, but it seems funny. So, yeah, that's like an example of one of his special powers. Now, there is a boon. In case you didn't know, don't remember. A boon is something that you can give someone that you're allied to. Let's say that, Suns fan really wants to beat Purge. And Suns fan says, okay, I want to beat Purge. Pyrian Flax, can you make an ally with me? Can you give me your boon so I can beat Purge? Sure. I also want you to beat Purge because he's up against me next. And I want him to be weaker and have less money. So, you can give a boon to your allies. The boon can be positive. It could be negative for the enemy. Or it could be nonsense because it's funny. For Pyrian's boon, I believe I'm going to do the Bone Horde. Upon casting, a giant mass of Wraith King skeletons spawn all over the map, and they attack both teams indiscriminately. He has chosen a stupid boon, and we shall see. Now, I think that this is really fun for balancing. For example, I have a team called the Jasper Circle. I wanted a backstabbing team, a team that is basically there, and they're so powerful with their abilities, they don't have a lot of money. They're true mercenaries. So, thanks, Hostel Gato. The Jasper.
Time to flex.
Thank you. That's 90 months of subbing. Thank you very much. So the Jasper Circle, they're from Artifact. Ricky's part of the Jasper Circle. It's a group of backstabbers and saboteurs. Whereas the Sisters of the Veil, they're assassins, but they're ordered by Oracle to kill people. Jasper Circle's the guys that you can pay. You can buy them and say, hey, I want this person dead. I want this person out of power. I want this person poisoned. Those are the boys. So I have the Jasper Circle. I really want in the game because I want a faction that is backstabbing all the time. I think the Jasper Circle starts with almost no money. They don't get anything. Money is imperative. It's how you buy your mercenaries. So Jasper Circle gets no money. However, you can always give them gold. And if you give them gold, they will give you their boon. And their boon is a global Necrophos Heartstopper aura for the enemy team. So while you're playing, if the Jasper Circle has poisoned your army, their health will constantly be ticking down for the entirety of the match. Very powerful stuff. Will they get paid for it? Will they be able to survive by backstabbing everybody, or will everyone rally against them? Who knows? That's the game. Should be funny. That's too much? We'll see. We'll see. We'll balance it. Don't worry. All of this must be balanced. So let's go through it. Let's take a look at some of these houses that I've created. And guys, give your real feedback. If you think that these houses are stupid, tell me now, because this is getting pretty solid. All right? Let us begin. So we have the Empire of Bone, Skeleton King. We need a talent that is going to be brash, yell on the microphone a lot, act like a tyrant, act like a psychopath. Literally there to harvest bones and bring them home to his magical North Korea. So, yeah, I think that is, of course, Pyrian Flax, if I can think of anyone. And again, Pyrian checks a lot of boxes for when it comes to Bannerlords. Is he interpersonal with his community? Absolutely. He's probably one of the best. Will he play the game of Mafia? Will he play a character? Absolutely. He'll have the time of his life. Will he want to do this? Will he want to go to a location for 8 days and actually have fun while he's there? Absolutely. I think so. So, check, check, check. I think Pyrian is the perfect kind of person for something like this. Next up, the Dark Moon Order. This is Celemani's peeps. Basically, yeah, they celebrate a god, but they're outcasts. They're outsiders who have lost their normal lives. They've wandered into Night Silver Woods, and now they pledge themselves to Celemani, and they pledge themselves to defending the Night Silver Woods. So the Dark Moon Order. I don't know. I need to figure out who's somebody good for that. That would fit into all those, and then we need to make abilities for them. The Sapphire Archons. These guys are, the Avengers of the Dota 2 universe. In Artifact lore, the most powerful magic users. Magic stems from the cold. It stems from ice. So they all go up north, and they govern the world in secret. Oh, thank you. The bots are here. Appreciate you, bots. Always take new viewers. We'll take that. Thank you. So the Sapphire Archons are very educated, holier than thou. We are the Avengers, the most powerful magic users, and we are here as a force of good. So these are good guys. So I need to find a talent who is smart, who is analytical, and who is the good guy. And they can be the Sapphire Archons. The Scion of the Skywrath. This is pretty tough. So the Skywrath Royal House, I don't think has an actual name. So we called him the Scion, the Scion of the Skywrath. It's based off of one of the abilities in one of the Dota games. But basically, I want these guys to be the Lannisters. I want a rich faction. I want a faction that starts off with 900 gold and everyone else starts off with 100, and they don't really have anything else. They have money. They could buy the best fighters every single time, but they don't really have any other cool powers. So I don't know who would play this, though, in the Dota community. I need somebody that is a haughty aristocrat that looks down upon others and, oh, away with you, you know? So I need to find out. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, that would be great. But I need someone that's, oh, disgusting, away. Is this the actual Skywrath lore? Kinda? I mean, it is like a royal... They are basically aristocrats. Not so much rich, but whatever. Bronze Legion. These are Romans, straight up. I mean, it's a mix between Rome and Sparta. They are a militaristic type of human civilization that spreads out. They go to armies, they enlist people, they take land, they bring it home, they build roads back to Rome. The Bronze Legionnaires. So it's a little bit similar to some other factions, especially the next one, the Red Mist Army. But it's like a developed but very harsh Spartan culture. So I need to think of somebody for that. Who is going to be able to yell? Who is going to be militaristic, you know? The weak do not belong in my society, etc., etc. Red Mist Army. These are Axis people, the Aglotes. It's a traveling band of basically Mongols from back in the day with Genghis Khan. They travel the land, they pillage, they have no home, they raid to survive, and they just capture people, do whatever they want. They are just there to raid. They're basically raiders. Are they good guys, bad guys? I don't know. But I need somebody that is going to go in there. And I think when it comes to that special ability of having a pro player that goes front and center and joins into the games, that is the faction for it. You know, the Red Mist Horde had Axe as its leader, then it had Sor Lakan. Now it has this person. So it's going to be a pro player who will say, I'm going to the front lines, and then they will go to the front lines and fight on behalf of their horde. So, could be fun. Next up, the Knights of the Fold. These guys come from their Chen's people. I wanted a crazy religious cult. It came down to either Omni Knight with the Omniscience, or it came down to the Knights of the Fold. I think the Knights of the Fold are a lot funnier. These guys live in the desert. They go on the back of captured creatures, and they basically mind control people and animals to serve their god. So I think it'd be hilarious, and I need to find a Dota talent that is going to play up that character of like, children, welcome. Ah, yes. Join us, the great god of the fold. That needs to happen. I don't know who it's going to be, but it sounds fucking hilarious to, have this person in the pool and running around. Next up are the Emissaries of Koij. Okay? Koij in Dota lore is in the area of the Fields of Endless Carnage. Short and sweet, the dead god made a part of the Dota 2 map where nothing can die, nothing can rot. You can die, but you're undead. You never rot, you can still function, your arms are falling off. It's zombie land. You go there, if you die there, you turn into a zombie. If you're undead, however, there's a city there. Now, the Dirge is a song that the dead god made where, the dead can rise and they follow and they're mindless zombies that do what they want. That's called the Army of the Dead God. They killed Animage's people. However, there's a lot of people that have enough mental faculty to not follow the Dirge, not be mindless zombies, but still be dead. So they made a city called Koij, and it's where anyone who's dead is allowed to come and hang out and be themselves. It's basically Fallout lore with, feral ghouls versus regular ghouls, except they're actually dead. They're not just, mutants. So, the city of Koij is a disgusting place. It's set up like Victoria, London. Everybody has their old Cockney accents. Their fucking intestines are hanging out. The whole place stinks. Everybody's rotting, but they're a civilized group. They're just living their days, They're chilling. So we need disgusting animals. That's what I need from the Emissaries of Koij. Grotesque, gross creatures. Think of Pudge. I need those. So I need something like that. The Jasper Circle, again, assassins, backstabbers. They can only survive by backstabbing other players and, building their funds by that way. That'll be fun. I want somebody unexpected for this. I want someone that's actually kind of nice and wants to play that character. But this needs to be a Littlefinger. It's like a conniving group that cannot survive on their own. They have to ally with people, and then they have to backstab their allies. It's the only way. So, it could be funny. The Conclave of the Brine. These are the outsiders. So, this is the faction of the Moranths. Slardar, Nagasiren, Tidehunter, Slark. Everybody that lives in the ocean is part of the Conclave of the Brine. So, these guys are the outsider. It's somebody that I don't care about the surface dwellers issues. Everything I do is for the ocean because I am the deep. Pseudo DC Aquaman shit. I don't know. Anybody could really be Conclave of the Brine. Hopefully not a huge Dota personality or something. Not somebody that is like known for their Dota skill but exists within the realm of Dota. I'm not sure. But this one's not really too big of a character. You just have to keep talking about the fucking ocean. Okay, the Society of Like-Minded Keen Folk. This was a tough one. So there's an area of the map that is predominantly owned by forest dwellers, like Enchantress, Nature's Prophet, Tree and Protector. This borders the same area as the Keen Folk, the small little guys, Timbersaw, Sniper, Tinker, all those little dudes. So I had to choose what would be a funnier group of people to represent. Should it be the little scientists that are making little funny things, or should it be the, lovely nature nerds? I went with techies, of course, I'm sorry. I went with a Society of Like-Minded Keen Folk. That's something from Artifact. Sniper goes and he tries to unite the Keen Folk under one banner. Well, it finally happened. So, this is a very analytical, they're very weak, so they have to think their way out of problems, and they have to be smart about it. So, should be fun. I think that, Clockwork and, yes, Snapfire. All Keen Folk. Very good. So, I think that's a funny faction. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do stuff with that. But what do you guys prefer? Do you like Keen Folk or do you want the Nature Boys? What do you guys think? Keen Folk? Okay, we made the right choice. Cool. And last up is the Abyssal Horde. These are the bad guys. And what I mean by the bad guys, they're just bad guys. The Bone King, he's a tyrant. He's North Korea. He still has his people. He still cares about them a little bit. The Red Mist Horde, this is a society, a collapsed society that's roaming around as raiders, but they're still roaming around together. It's a gloaty society. It's just what they've become. This is just an asshole. The Abyssal Horde rises up from the caves underneath the planet, and they only come up so they can grab slaves and work them to death. They're demons, they're evil, they don't give a fuck about anybody, and their only job is to burn the world. So, we need a piece of shit. And not only that, we need someone that wants to play the piece of shit. We want somebody that wants to go in there and burn everybody else and doesn't give a fuck. So I need a Dota personality that wants to burn the world down for themselves and laugh while they're doing it. So it could be funny. Okay, so those are our factions, our 12 factions. Other factions that I was thinking about was like a Nation of Revtel for... it doesn't matter what else I was thinking. I've locked those in. So now I need to think, what talent would be best for these houses? Because the houses are required. Why are the houses required? Because of our map locations. We have made the map of the world, which we will be making higher quality and having people travel throughout it. But also, the map is going to be based off, to make this very simple, all of the different skins around the map. And each one of these map skins, these home bases, will have buffs that help their home turf. For example, let's see here. Yeah, Reef's Edge is the home turf of the Concave of the Brine. So these guys, if they are fighting on their home turf, which you, the viewers, will have to vote on where they fight. If they're fighting on their home turf, some kind of buff happens. Like if you have Slytherin heroes, they get a 10%, they get like Slardar shit, where they move faster or something. We'll figure it out. But basically, houses have their home turf, which help them win games. And if you are to invade and move on, you have to decide where you're going to fight based on this home turf, which will affect your drafting, which will bring into effect your abilities. It's going to be super complicated for the Bannerlords and for their houses to say, okay, where are we going to fight, and what are we going to draft, and who are we going to hire to do it? And that is the fun part of the tournament, the thinking part of it, which makes it unique. So I'm cooking that next week. I'm trying to think exactly of what I want to do for these houses and make sure that each one of these houses have a really funny ability. I'll give you one. I got 2 ideas for winter. Okay, the winter map. This is where the Sapphire Archons are. So, 2 ideas. Number 1, penguins. We have penguins as couriers. The same penguins that you've rid in Dota 1,000 times. And this map just has mounts. How would that affect Dota? What would that do? I think that would be pretty funny, just to see how the little mounts do and people riding around on their stupid fucking mounts to get to team fights. Who knows? What heroes would you pick for that? I don't know. The other idea, and I really like this one, is if you guys remember in Soapbreaker Act 2, there was this winter area, and there would be a snowstorm, and you had to run it in between fireplaces. In my opinion, the idea could be that there is a blizzard that happens once in a while on the winter map, and it's a whiteout. If you're on the map, you will lose health like you're AA blasted, and then you will die. And this happens randomly. However, in both the jungles and in the fountains, there's a campfire. And if you're near the campfire, you don't freeze. So can you imagine playing a map where all of a sudden you have 5 seconds to get to a campfire, and then the two enemy teams, they're just like, these two guys had to go to this one, and this one guy had to go to this one, and there you go. You're fucked. Like, team fights are just happening randomly all the time because people are huddled for warmth, and if they don't go in there, they're fucking dead. Seems crazy, but also seems really cool. So, yeah, these map effects will all TP home, but what if you're pushing? What if you're like, everybody has dieback, and you just beat dieback, and then the blizzard comes in? Do you keep pushing? Do you go back home? Do you hide in the campfire? I don't know. Interesting ideas. So yeah, we're building maps like that with funny effects that will hopefully be a buff for the team that uses it and screw them over. So yeah. Talent, though, is going to be a bitch because I need to now research every single person that has basically ever been involved with Dota and send them an invite. Literally anybody. I'm going to have a Google Calendar. It's going to be, hey, here's the dates. Here's the times. You can sign up for one best of 1. You can sign up for a best of 3. You can sign up for a best of 5. Thank you, bots, for your excitement. Would you like to be part of the tournament? And you will be paid for every single game that you play. So this could branch out to literally anyone. I could contact any old Dota player, new Dota player, current pro, people that work on the sky's the limit. But we need to think of this now because each one of these mercenaries has to be balanced. I need to put a money attachment to how much they're worth. Pro players are going to cost a lot, whereas noobs and idiots are going to have special buffs for picking them because they're so bad. So this is going to be difficult. And this is one thing that I would really love your guys' help on. If you guys know or think anybody would be great in this tournament, just to show up for an hour or 3 hours, play some Dota on comms, have fun, and fuck off. I am open to your suggestions because I need to get a deck sent out to people and just say, hey, my name's Slacks. Here's this idea. Here's this one-pager deck with a bunch of pretty pictures, and would you be interested in coming? Here's the link to the Google Calendar. And that's it. But if this is an 8-day event with 2 BO3s a day, and the same mercenaries can't be picked in day 1 and day 2, that's at least 15 mercenaries per series. With 2 BO2, that's 30 mercenaries a day times, God. Oh, no. 30 times 8. Guys, I need to get my hands on like 240 people. Now, there will be a lot of like, people that come over and over again. Like I could see a Waga showing up almost every day and all that shit. But we need to get not only 240 people probably around-ish, we need to have backups. Standardized backups, which will be easy, I think. I think there's a lot of great streamers out there, like, your guys aren't everything. Your Excaliburs and stuff, they'll just be there hanging out, which will be fun. But I'm going to need a lot of fucking people. 240 people throughout the entirety of the tournament from Dota's past, future, and current. So, gonna be tough, gonna be rough, but we'll see how it goes. Who knows? I don't think they have to be individual every day. I think we're gonna have a lot of the same faces. In fact, I think that helps the tournament have a lot of fun. It's because you can see Waga gets more expensive, less expensive, more expensive as he performs in the tournament. I think that's great. So we don't actually need that many people, but we need a lot of fucking people. So we'll see. Again, if you guys have any suggestions for people that you think would be good, especially outside of the Dota community, please leave a message, leave a comment on the YouTube video, send me an email at SirActionSlacks@gmail.com with a list of people that you think would be great. If you have any personal connections to anybody and you want to help me out in that way, and you're like, hey, I'm friends with this guy, I'll tell them about it, give me your deck. It's great too. Time to start contacting Mercenaries. We got to get them now. It's going to be a pain in the ass. But we have several months to do it, so let's get it done. Most importantly, though, we got to lock in our banner lords. We need to know who these 12 people are, and then we need to lock in our fighters guild. We need to know how these 5, 6-ish people are. So if you had any good ideas, if I said any one of the houses and you're like, oh my god, that screams this guy to me, let me know. And yeah, I would love your guys' feedback too on the idea of the Fighters Guild, the big Dota 2 streamers that don't come to the event, but they actually play the games and you can watch their point of view from their streams. Do you like this idea? Would you rather be on Team Gork, supporting Gork throughout the tournament and being, if he wins the tournament, you get the prizes, or would you rather watch Gork play on his own stream? And he's there every day, though, so he could decide to play, he could not. I have not talked to Gork. He has not said any of this stuff. I'm just saying, for big streamers, for people that you'd actually like watching them play games, would you rather them be part of the show, or would you rather watch them play games? That is a big answer that I hope that you guys can provide this week. So, with that in mind, I will hopefully get these banner lords locked in by the end of next week. And it's about time for us to work on the mod itself and selling this bitch. So, again, none of this happens if we don't get a sponsor. I've been talking to several people so far. I've been having a lot of meetings. Another reason this video was delayed, to try to figure out a good sponsor for this that makes sense. So, we'll talk about that process. Making a deck that makes sense. Building a tournament around your sponsors and making sure that their deliverables are happening. Why esports is dying because people don't do this shit. That'll be next week, is sponsorship. After that, probably maps. Custom shit. Making a custom game. Designing all that. So stay tuned. But if you guys have any ideas for sponsors, anything like that, always up for your feedback. Let me know who you want at this tournament. Let me know what system you want, and that will do it. So that is your update, your dev blog this week on talent and players. Hope that was informative. If you guys ever want to make your own tournaments in the future, if you ever have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.